If you do not heal after narcissistic abuse, you don't just risk attracting another narcissist, you risk becoming the toxic one yourself. You are handing new people the bill for damage they didn't cause, and I want you to think about that for a second. The man that's in front of you is not your ex, but he's paying for his crimes every time you accuse, test, assume betrayal is there when it isn't. You'll make the innocent guilty because your nervous system never got the memo that the war is over. You're recreating this cage even when the door is wide open. You think that you're free, but you're still living like a prisoner. You slam the door on good love before it has a chance to knock. You mistake consistency for boredom. You run from peace because it feels like danger. And without even realizing it, you've rebuilt the exact same prison you fought so hard to escape. This time, it's with your own hands. Until you face your triggers and heal the trauma in your body, you will continue to sabotage yourself into living the same story on repeat. Different face, different name, same cage. I'm Meaghan Webster, an abuse recovery coach, a trauma-informed strategist, and the woman a narcissist hopes to never meet twice. This is the Narcissist Worst Nightmare podcast, and today we are going all in on dating after narcissistic abuse. Not the fluffy version, not the take your time sis version. The holy fuck truth. If you do not do the healing, you will sabotage yourself, destroy good love, and keep repeating patterns that bury you deeper in your own pain. And I want you to listen closely because in this episode, it's going to be your doorway into the Black Cat Academy, the space where women go to transmute their shadows, weaponize their discernment, and finally call in sacred, untouchable love. So what happens when you don't heal? Here's what it's going to look like if you jump into dating without healing. You're going to accuse men of cheating when they're simply at work because your nervous system was trained to expect betrayal. You test people constantly, picking fights, creating drama, not because you're crazy, but because you're desperate for proof that they won't abandon you like the narcissist did. You sabotage healthy relationships because calm feels wrong, and your body has been addicted to chaos for so long that peace feels like danger. That's the sick twist. If you don't face this, you become a mirror of the very person you escaped. You become controlling, distrustful, manipulative, not because you're evil, but because you've never healed the survival patterns that the narcissist carved in you. And this is going to be a really tough pill for you to swallow. You can love someone good and still destroy the relationship with your unhealed trauma. You could meet the man who is ready to fully choose you, and you will push him away because somewhere inside, you don't believe love can exist without pain. I remember about a year after my separation, I started to dip my toes back into dating, and let me tell you, the sabotage was real. There was one man, genuinely kind, nothing dramatic, very communicative, no games, and I got sick. One day I got sick, and he offered to drop off cold meds. Simple, thoughtful, normal. But the second he said it, my whole body went into shutdown. My brain was like, nope. If you do this for me, then I'm going to owe you. You'll know where I live. Why are you being so nice? What do you want from me? And what's the hidden agenda here? And instead of letting someone care for me in a very small, very human way, I pulled back completely because calm felt suspicious, kindness felt dangerous, and I was conditioned to the chaos that the absence of it all felt wrong. My nervous system didn't know what to do with safe. So I did what most women do after narcissistic abuse. I sabotaged it before it could sabotage me. And that's the twisted part of trauma. You protect yourself from what you think is danger, when in reality, the danger is the cage that you keep building around yourself. This is why I built the Black Cat Academy, because you don't need to date better. You need to unhook your nervous system from chaos and rebuild what love means in your body. This is where you will learn how to turn survival patterns into discernment, power, and magnetic self-trust. So why do you self-sabotage, and what do your attachment styles have to do with it? Self-sabotage after abuse is not weakness, it's wiring. It's not random either. It's very coded into and throughout your attachment style. And until you face that, you're going to keep pulling the same triggers and wonder why every relationship feels like deja vu. If you grew up with inconsistency, you will chase men who breadcrumb you because it feels like home. If you grew up silenced, you will find yourself with men who don't listen because it matches your wound. If you grew up begging for attention, you will fall for men who give it in bursts and then vanish. Your attachment style isn't broken, it's a survival strategy. But the survival will wreck the intimacy. and will never allow you to relax into love. I want you to think of your attachment style not as a label, but as a map. It shows you where the landmines are. If you're avoidant, you will run from closeness the second it feels real. If you're anxious, you will cling so tight that you'll suffocate the good love. If you're disorganized, you live in the exhausting push-pull cycle, craving intimacy, while being terrified of it at the same time. And until you own that, you're going to keep thinking that you're cursed, that you're just bad at dating, that all men are X, Y, and Z. It's not the truth. You are conditioned, and your conditioning can be rewired if you're willing to do the work. Society and social media have it so backwards when it comes to triggers and patterns. They will tell you just avoid the red flags. Know your attachment style and you'll be all fixed. That is bullshit. This is not a BuzzFeed quiz. This is your nervous system. If you don't heal it, your body is going to keep dragging you around through the same pain dressed up with a different face. Knowing your dominant attachment style isn't just self-awareness. It's the keys to the prison that you've been sitting in. Every trigger, every panic spiral, every test you run on somebody new, that is a locked door. And awareness hands you the keys to that. Without it, you are quite literally fumbling around in the dark, repeating the same patterns and calling it bad luck. But with it, you can see the doors for what they actually are. Triggers, not truths. I've decided to run a free training on September 23rd called Triggers to Sacred Love, Break the Patterns of Narcissistic Abuse Left Behind. If you feel like you've been stuck in the same pain in different bodies, this is where you're going to learn how to use your triggers as the roadmap to break free and call in love that does not destroy you or ask you to abandon yourself. The link will be in the description below to sign up. So this is why I share awareness is the first holy fuck step to healing. You cannot fix what you won't face. You can't rewire what you won't name. And the second you realize this is not love, this is my attachment wound trying to run the show, you're going to stop self-sabotaging and start rewiring your nervous system to hold actual love. Inside of the Black Cat Academy, we don't just talk about attachment styles like they're labels, we weaponize them as a roadmap, and you're going to learn exactly how your anxious, avoidant, or disorganized patterns have been running the show, and more importantly, how to rewire them so you can stop sabotaging your love life. This is where triggers stop being prisons and start being keys, where you learn to spot the exact moment your nervous system is about to spiral. And instead of blowing up a good relationship or running back to chaos, you get to shift your pattern in real time. The Black Cat Academy is when you stop attracting projects and potential and start holding out for sacred love, where you go from repeating the same cycle on autopilot to actually breaking it for good. And you don't attract sacred love without boundaries, period, full stop. Most survivors swing from one extreme to another, either no boundaries at all or walls so high that nobody can actually get through them. Both of them will keep you stuck. Boundaries are not meant to be walls. They are invitations. They say, this is the level that I allow people to meet me at, and if you cannot step up, you cannot get in. When you heal, your boundaries are either non-existent or so rigid that you cut off every single possibility. But when you heal, your boundaries become sacred. They aren't about controlling others, it's about honoring yourself. Without boundaries, you're going to confuse passion for possession, consistency for boredom, silence for safety, and every time you'll set yourself up to repeat the past. The woman who becomes the narcissist's worst nightmare isn't the one who hides. It's the one who shows up with her boundaries so embodied that they do not need an explanation. Her presence says, I will not be diminished. I am a very difficult person to date for unhealed men. I am not a princess, I am not demanding, but I do have a gold red carpet standard because I am no longer available for potential, I don't fall for words, and I watch for actions. A little while back, I went on 2 really good dates with someone. Great communication, high interest, planning time together. It felt like it was kind of going somewhere, but then he got sick. He had even gone as far as to send me photos of himself in the bathtub with a beer beside him, and my thought process was like, sick? Question mark. We had plans for Thursday. Wednesday, I had asked how he was feeling, and he said something like more or less the same. Thursday comes, silence, no call, no message. The empath in me wanted to believe that maybe he was really sick. But the woman I become clocked the shift. All of the actions had fallen off. Friday morning, I was scrolling on TikTok, and there he was, out at the market the night before. I still hadn't heard from him. Hours later, I got a text, so how about that dinner tonight? And my answer was, no thanks. No explanation, no justification, just a boundary. When he pressed, I explained, hey, I held space for our day yesterday, and I was left without communication. If you were sick, I totally would have understood, but you were out at the market, which tells me that seeing me isn't a priority, and I'm no longer interested. He had popped off with excuses, he begged, he tried to spin it, and I just didn't respond. Because here's the thing, boundaries don't require debate. A boundary is you teaching people how to treat you, and when they fail that test, you don't bend, you don't chase, you just walk. That is the difference between a woman who stays trauma bonded and the woman who becomes a narcissist's worst nightmare. And this is the work that we do inside of the Black Cat Academy. You're not just going to learn boundaries, you're going to embody them. You're going to practice saying no with steel in your voice. You will learn to hold your standards so fiercely that the right people don't even try to step into your space. Before you can even talk about wanting sacred love, I need to get one thing very clear. Choosing yourself, validating yourself, and creating your own self-safety is step one, period. If you do not choose you first, you will be begging to be chosen by people who do not deserve you. If you don't validate yourself first, every text left unread is going to feel like rejection instead of just life. If you don't create safety in your own body, you're going to keep searching for it in men who only know how to destabilize you. This is not optional. This is a foundation you must learn, because if you do not own your power, your truth, and your safety, no amount of sacred love is going to stick. You will sabotage it, drain it, and push it away. Sacred love does not heal you. You heal you, and the sacred love has room to arrive. It doesn't show up because you've been begging for it or waiting for it. It shows up when you've done the work to hold it. And this starts with you. You have to be the one that validates yourself first, so you're no longer chasing scraps of approval like they're a meal. You have to create safety in your own body so you do not confuse adrenaline spikes with intimacy. You have to stand in radical self-respect so you stop explaining why you're so worthy and you just embody it. And you have to love yourself enough that you don't shrink at all to be tolerated. Because the truth is, until you choose yourself, every relationship you step into will be built on shaky ground. You'll be waiting for someone else to fill the cracks instead of pouring the foundation yourself. When you choose you, everything shifts. You stop chasing validation and you embody it. You stop explaining your worth and start radiating it. You stop attracting projects to fix and start attracting partners who rise. Sacred love is not found scrolling on an app. It's magnetized by the frequency that you live in. When you integrate your shadows, heal your nervous system, and build unshakable standards, you will literally stop attracting anything that doesn't align. But if you haven't done the healing, you will not recognize safe love when it shows up. You will sabotage it, test it, and run from it because it does not match your familiar chaos. Healing is the doorway that lets you hold what you say you want. It is not a prize that somebody hands you. It is a mirror, a reflection of the love you've already chosen to give it yourself. And this is why the Black Cat Academy was created. It's where women stop begging for crumbs and start embodying devotion, where you transmute your empathy into discernment, where you stop being the empath who gets drained and start being the dark empath who is magnetic, untouchable, and irresistible. If this episode hit you hard, good. That means it is something that you needed to hear today, so you stop bleeding on people who didn't cut you, so you can stop repeating the cycle and stop mistaking chaos for love. Give us a follow here so you don't miss a single episode. Leave a review or send me a DM on Instagram to tell me what landed. And this is your invite to join us on September 23rd for a free training, Triggers to Sacred Love, how to stop repeating patterns of narcissistic abuse, and how to start calling in love that actually lasts. And if you are ready to go all in, join the Black Cat Academy. This is where you're going to stop sabotaging yourself and start calling in the sacred love you've always deserved. This is the Narcissist's Worst Nightmare podcast, and your comeback starts with you becoming the woman a narcissist could never touch.